Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes soloing the Stalker. We're level 14 with our Stalker, getting close to level 15, and I'm going to start working on Wilson Zucco Willie Starbuck, because he is one of the three contacts that can give out the Bonefire arc. I have gone into the options, and I have turned our XP gain off, right, so that we don't outlevel it because this arc only goes to level 14. Also, guys, I noticed when watching back some of my earlier missions, I feel like the sound effects were loud enough that sometimes my voice was competing with it, and you could hear what I was saying, but it was a little bit hard to in a few spots, so I've lowered the sound effects down. Hopefully that'll work. Um, Seemed pretty good in my testing, but the thing is there are certain sound effects like machine gun that are louder in-game than other effects, and so sometimes I can't tell it unless I'm listening to those specific effects interfere with my voice. Anyway, we're going to try to do some missions for Willie here and see if we can get the. Can we go straight to fault line? Yeah, we're going to see if we can get the Bonefire arc. The other thing I want to mention is that I also looked up tip missions. Right, these are the ones I keep talking about. Going in here, we have these tips. I'm like, where is the alignment? That apparently happens after level 20. So these are just explorer badges or whatever that you can get. And then when you get to 20th level, it starts offering you alignment missions that allow you to change from hero to villain or villain to hero. So that's why I'm too early for it. And I think usually tip missions didn't appear before level 20, but I guess Homecoming has changed it because of this teleport thing, where if you do enough exploration with in the zone, you get the ability to teleport straight to the zone, like I just did. Right? I have that one because I did the tip mission for Fault Line already. So what we're doing here is XP is turned off because we don't want to outlevel the contact and we don't want to outlevel the story arc, and will stay turned off until we do the story arc because we want to get Bonefire because it's one of my favorite arcs, so I want to do that one. Oh, and I'm an idiot. I forgot I'm a Stalker, not a Scrapper, and I should be doing Assassin Strike first. Not that it matters against green cons. I don't know why they're green cons. What's the mission level? It's 14, so I don't know why these guys are 12. I guess it's a backloaded mission. I've mentioned those before. So in here we probably don't need our Mez Defense toggle, which is, what is it called again? Entropy Shield. I keep wanting to call it Integration. Okay, so now we definitely want to do Assassination. Always watch out for the patrols, although I really should be zooming in here. Again, guys, let me know if the zooming in is helping with the camera jerk and, you know, people feeling like seasick watching me spin the camera. I'm perfectly fine trying to keep it this way. If it's not helping though, let me know, because I'd rather keep it zoomed out. So if it's not doing any good, let me know and I'll just zoom it back out. Right, I'm willing to cater to the viewers a little bit if what I'm doing is actually working, but if it's not working, there's no point to doing that. Right, so just let me know in the comments, and I'll keep doing it if people like it, and if they don't, or if it's not helping, then I'll stop. Okay, now I saw somebody going up here, so let's go up. So this is just to defeat the Archon. I guess theoretically, since we're not gaining XP for this, right, what I could do is just stealth to the Archon, right, cheese a little bit, stealth to the Archon. We're just trying to get credit for the missions from this guy just so that we can get to the story arc. Because it's not gaining me any XP, right? All it's doing is gaining influence. And I don't actually need influence because I've already got 2 million of it. So shall we do that, guys? Let's see if we can find the Archon. So another great capability of the Stalker is you can just find the bad guy you're looking for. And there he is, I bet. I see a word balloon over here. Here he is. Now, he's not the only one we're going to have to take out. But what you can do, if you don't want to do the whole mission for whatever reason, this is just, we're just trying to build up credit because I worked, excuse me, I worked the wrong contacts, right? I worked Everett Daniels, I worked Haley Phillips, I worked Wilson Zucco, thinking that those guys could give me the story arc that I'm looking for, but they're the wrong guys. So we got all the way to level 14 doing random missions. So what I'm doing here is just trying to build enough rep with Willie Starbuck that he will give me Bonefire. Right, so if you want to do that, then one thing you can do is, okay, we're defeating him and his crew, so we have to defeat him, but we're also going to have to defeat some fraction of the crew. We don't know how much. If you want to get a mission done like this, the way to do it is to find the bad guy or the glowy, deal with it, and then kill, quote unquote kill, defeat enemies, kill your way out of the mission toward the mission door. At some point you will have defeated enough enemies far enough away from the boss that it will give you credit for the mission, because it doesn't say defeat all. Right? Now maybe this is defeat all anyway. If it is, we'll just defeat everybody. Oh, this, I need integration for him, because he has a knockback. And we earned a badge. Marauder is a... What is Marauder? Alright, we'll take a look. Yeah, we completed the mission. Alright, so let's head out. Let's take a look at what badges we earned. Badges. Most recent. Okay, so... Marauder, we've inflicted 100,000 points of damage upon our foes already at 14th level. That is pretty good. We've also collected 25 badges, and we got the Kalen Legacy of the Earth. The Legacy Chain respects you. Don't know what you had to do to get that. So Gladiator, this Gladiator is for using NPCs in the arena, I think. I've never actually used it, so I don't really know much about it. Oh, I accidentally took my hands off the keys. I don't know why I'm jumping out. Oh, yeah, I was going to say I could use this, but I can't. It's 3 minutes. So let's head back to the base, and we'll go to Steel Canyon and talk to Willie Starbuck, who I'm probably going to call Wilson Zucco a lot. So yeah, folks, let me know how the zooming in is working. I know I sometimes forget, and I do apologize for that. But at least, given that I've zoomed into here when we're indoors, if that is actually working better for you, let me know. And if it's not, also let me know that. I won't zoom in any more than to the point where her feet are about here, because any more than that is uncomfortable level of zoom for me. And I'm not going to play it. I can't really play that way, but I can do it up to her feet. So if you like that, let me know. And if it's not helping, let me know that too, because I would rather be zoomed all the way out all the time. But I'm willing to, I'm willing to make that sacrifice for watchability, as long as I don't have to zoom in any more than that, if it's actually working. But if it's not working, I don't want to make the sacrifice for no reason, if that makes sense. As you can see, we filled in quite a bit of the Steel Canyon map now just by hopping around. And Willie is giving us the Bonefire arc. Alright, here we go. Now we're not going to cheese any missions. We're going to actually do the arc. So we're going to Atlas Park. And I think what I'll do is let's turn the XP back on and see just how fast we gain it. Go ahead. I wish there was a way to tell it gain a half XP or something like that, so we would just gain it more slowly. I'm not going to play a lot of games with turning XP on and off with this character, but I do like this arc, so we have to stay under level 15 for this arc. So I'll keep an eye on my XP bar here We still have 4 beads to go, I think, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So we still have a ways to go. Maybe a beat a mission is what we're probably going to get. So we can go a couple missions before I have to shut it back down. We'll see how it goes. We'll turn it off for things like street hunts and stuff. But leave it on for the door missions for now. If we get too close, though, I will shut it back down. So level 15, we're going to get a couple more slots. I have to think about where I want to put those slots. And then level 16, I have to think about whether I want another attack while we're still slot poor, or whether I might perhaps want Placate. I think we're going to want another attack first, because I think Placate works better if you have a couple of attacks to use after triggering it. Alright, so we come up here. Here's a Marrow Snap. Alright, so in the original formulation of this mission, there was no door here. This actually didn't work this way. You came in here and there were some crates and stuff, and Marrow Snap was right here. And he was a boss, and he was often +1, and you'd be level 11 or something facing a level 12 boss, and if you couldn't get past him, you couldn't do the mission. And a lot of people had to call for help. Now, Marrow Snap also has a lieutenant with him, right, which makes him also hard. But the advantage for this character is we have Assassin Strike. See, we took him down half his hit points in one shot, which is going to make it a lot easier. That is Siphon Life that he just used on me. I will eventually get that power as well. Can we get rid of him? Got him. I remember doing Marrow Snap with Silver Phoenix. I think it was Silver Phoenix. I think we have to go back and watch. I think we got this mission with Silver Phoenix, and I think I did Marrow Snap with Silver Phoenix. And I was like, why was he so hard? Oh, I did that while a patrol was coming, which is stupid. Am I zoomed in? Hang on, let me check. I might have forgotten. I'm not, so let's zoom in. There we go. Okay. Interesting that this girl did not aggro. One of the things I would have loved to see, if you noticed, one of the characters, one of the villains, fell down here and was KO'd. I feel like the guys down here should see it and go, what the heck, and start looking for the hero, you know? I feel like they could have done stuff like that. Maybe not at launch, but eventually. Oh, we gotta switch that up. By the way, I'm not turning the camera. At that point, I let the computer do it. So I have it set so that if you are not facing them when you attack, the camera automatically spins. I absolutely love that feature in City of Heroes. I've never been able to get another MMO to do it, and it's always annoyed me. One of the reasons I kept coming back to COH, despite playing other MMOs, is that... Oh, we're gaining XP too fast. Let's stop it. Is that every time I was playing other MMOs, I was trying to get it to play like City of Heroes. Like, I try to make a Scrapper-esque character. As best I could, I would try to make a Scrapper in another game like Star Wars The Old Republic or whatever, Saga of Rhizome. And, like, the other games just don't give you the ability to do that. So you could never make a true Scrapper or Stalker in another game. So I always kept coming back to COH. So now this was 2 different patrols that were just happened to be following the same route. Probably spawned at different times, but then ended up going the same direction. It was not a patrol of 4. Let's talk a little bit about inspirations, guys, because I haven't really talked about them too much. Um, as you know, I have my kit that I like, which is column of yellow, column of red, column of blue, column of green, column of purple, at least for now. Now, that I may get rid of the blues. I often do when I have the power that lets her siphon endurance from opponents, and when we've got enough endurance modification and stuff in our single origin enhancers. I also might get rid of some of the heals once I have Siphon Life because I can heal myself, right? So I might just have one column of both, especially once we have 4 rows in each column. But normally I do that, but I also like to keep using them because then more will drop, right? If you don't use the inspirations, then none drop, right, once it's full. So I'm willing to keep using them as needed and just leave a box or two open, unless I feel like I really have to have a particular kit because I'm going to be fighting a boss or something. If I'm just running a normal mission, I'm perfectly fine using them as, just even when I don't need them, so that I can get others that I might need, right? So if I get an orange or whatever, I automatically will use it pretty much immediately. It increases resistance. Minion. Okay. So that one-shotted him without build-up, and now we might be able to almost one-shot this lieutenant who has 262 health with built-up Assassin Strike, but not with just Assassin Strike. And I'm not going to wait. By the time that recharges, we'll have this guy defeated. Yeah, I'm tired of using these, so I think before we get Placate, I'm going to go ahead and grab another attack. It'd probably be Shadow Punch, unless Siphon Life becomes available, because Siphon Life is going to give us a heal. And there's a save. And now arrest all gang members. That means defeat everyone. Let's see how we do against this guy with built-up Assassin Strike. Almost one-shots him. If there was even one damage enhancer on it, we would have one-shotted him. Are there a couple bosses over there? Okay. So we are going to wait for the Assassin Strike to use that on the bosses, but what we can do is sweep the rest of the base, the warehouse, and take out other guys until that builds back up. Or not builds up, recharges. Let's get out of the eyesight of the bosses. Just pull these guys back. Come on. Oh, crap. I almost walked right into another couple spawns. I'm lucky I didn't aggro those guys. Oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah, that was a mistake. The main reason that's a problem is I really don't want to have to use any inspirations here because we're going to need them on the bosses. So we can use that one. Probably won't need that one. Trying to stay out of the flames because they do damage you. And now here comes a patrol too. Man, I am not getting lucky. Just over aggroed. Way over aggroed. Let's get out of the fire. Alright, we need to get out of here. Way over aggroed. Way beyond over, like that's over aggroing beyond the definition of over aggroing. So we got to get away from them. Let the aggro dry in a little bit. Oh wait, he's still coming. Nobody else should aggro to me over here, if there's anybody left, because I'm hidden. And And this is where a placate would help me shed aggro. But I don't have it. At some point they should stop. Okay. So let's just go ahead and rest. Alright, so that was me being an idiot. Right? I ran around that corner thinking, I thought that area was cleared. I wasn't watching the map, and I thought I had cleared that area. So I came around the corner and it had 2 or 3 spawns, and there was a patrol coming. So I just aggroed like 4 spawns. So that's on me. That was dumb. Not watching the map. So let's clean the patrol out first, so they don't blunder into me. And then wait so that the hide comes on. Do we have anybody over here? No. Oh, wait, I'm going the wrong way. Gotta go north. And now these guys, right? I actually took most of them out, I guess. Well, the Marrow Snap mission strikes again, just not in the place I expected, and only because I was an idiot. Okay. So here are the bosses. Pyromaniac. Oh, they're lieutenants. I thought they were bosses because they were orange, but they're +1 lieutenants. I could have just taken them out. I didn't even have to wait. That's a mistake, by the way. Another one. Given the two, dark versus fire, go for the dark first and take him out. Why? Because he can debuff your 2 hit, and you end up with mist streaks and stuff like that. He probably won't do too much of it to me because but see, so 69% to hit, right? He debuffed me a little bit. 93%, 93. Normally I have 95. So either that was because of his level or because he debuffed me a little bit. And there's another patrol over here. Is there? Because I thought I came down here and there was nobody here. Why is it claiming there's a guy here? There's nobody here. Are we bugged? No, it looks like there's a patrol there. I'll tell you, the patrols make things interesting, right? They do make it tactically interesting. You have to watch for them and make sure that they don't blunder into you, or what just happened to me can happen. But the disadvantage is the patrols are part of the defeat everyone, and if they go one way when you're going the other way and you don't realize they're there, they can make it really hard to clear a mission map because because you didn't realize they were there. Let's see, what do we got for recipes? It's level 14. We don't need any of that. And let's see, salvage anything cool? No orange. The oranges are going to fund us all the way to level 35, I think. And I don't know that the ATO sets, I think we just get them, the ATOs. I don't think they're recipes, they're enhancements, right? I may be wrong about that, but other than maybe the ATOs, I don't think we'll need oranges to make any non-set inventions. Alright, so we're on the Bonefire Arc, and now we're going to take the cloak we just found in the safe to Azuria. Oh, and the other thing I need to do is go to Icon. That's where you can change your costume and stuff. And I need to recolor my, that's a present. Recolor my, my super jump. So let's go ahead. I'll show you how to do that. That costs some influence sometimes, but doesn't really matter because we have 1 million or 2 million. So this is Icon. This is where you can go and change. You can add new costumes. You can change costumes. You can edit your appearance. This is something that you couldn't do at launch. And they put it in around the time Liberty Lasts was 25th level. So we're going to go in here. And all I want to do is go into the pool powers. That's why I couldn't have done it before, because I didn't have it. Combat jumping, we're going to go dark. Is that right? Is that what we want? But we don't want orange. We're more of a blue character. So let's go like here. And then super jump. Same thing. We were there, right? Let's maybe make super jump a little different. Should we make it a slightly different color? How about we make super jump like this? Wait, this maybe plus this? Maybe I want that blue. That. How about that? It's going to be hard to tell until I actually see it in action, but I just feel like maybe it'll look a little different. 1200 influence, I will happily pay that. I don't need a free Taylor token for that. And this is what our jump looks like now. You see it's dark and it matches with our character. Let's see if we can see the difference between super jump and combat jump. So here's the super jump color. Let's go over the ice. Can we see it a little better here? Not really. Okay, so that's the super jump color. Now we're going to switch to combat jump. Does it look any different? Yeah, it looks a little bit different. Anyway, so now we have our character properly colored. And we're going to go to Azuria. Yeah, I love how it looks blue instead of yellow. That's awesome. I mean, I think I always left Silver Phoenix as yellow because that's the original color, and that's what I always think of for combat jump, because years ago you couldn't color combat jump or any of the powers, right? Originally, you could change your costume colors and your hair color and stuff, but you couldn't change the powers, and then changing power colors came later. Okay, so we need your help desperately. One of our enchantresses has been kidnapped. Okay, going to King's Row. So while she's checking the cloak, I guess, we're going to King's Row. Do I need to sell anything? Oh, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Do we have stuff we can use? I mean, no. We technically could use this, but these things are already the highest. They're already... I mean, I guess I could, right? What we could do here is... Right, we can buff this up to 16th level. Technically, it makes it slightly better, right? If you look on the thing, this is 2 accuracies plus 1.35x. These 2 accuracies 1.63x. Why is it 1. Oh, wait, wrong thing, right? Because it starts off at 1.2. So it's 35.8% bonus versus 35.0. So, like, it doesn't do that much, but it's, you know, you don't get that much influence from selling it, so you may as well, I guess. Let's sell all this junk. Don't want any of that until level 30 ones are dropping. Alright. So now let's go and defeat the gang leader and guards. So this is one of my favorite story arcs. This was originally the very first story arc in the game. We didn't know what story arcs were, I don't think. Maybe they mentioned them in beta. Maybe they mentioned them in other, in some of the documentation. But no one, until they got to around 11th or 12th level, had experienced a story arc. And then you got this story arc. And up until then, it was all just one-off missions and street hunts. And all of a sudden, you got this series of missions that were connected. And it was really cool because you didn't know you were on it because they didn't have this little book icon. You did get clues, but you got clues from other things too. So you didn't know you were on it. They didn't have the book icon, and they didn't have the title in the mission list. The little blue title where it says Bonefire, right? They didn't have that. So you did not know you were honest. You were just taking a random mission to go fight somebody, and Marrow Snap was in there, and it was just quote unquote the Marrow Snap mission. And you would play a bunch of missions, and they were all sort of connected. And then at the end, you didn't get reward merits because those didn't exist, but you would get a bump to your XP for completing it, and it would give you a permanent clue, right? A souvenir. It's going to be a bandana or something that is the bandana of the leader of the Skulls, or something like that, that you get at the end of the story arc. Whoops. Alright, so now we're going to defeat the gang leader and guards and find the missing mystic. Right? So guys, talking about story arcs, what are your favorites? I like Bonefire partly. I think it's a cool arc, but I also like it because it was the first one, and I have a lot of nostalgia for Bonefire because of that. I also very, very, very vividly remember multiple deaths to Marrow Snap. Going in there, he's at the front of the mission, and just getting my butt kicked by Marrow Snap. And it just became a thing. If you've got the Marrow Snap mission, you need friends to come help you, because he was +1 and he was at the front of the mission and he was a boss and you were like level 11. And we just didn't know how to handle stuff like that yet, right? We hadn't played the game that much. Whoops. I think I'm going to take Entropy Shield off for the Mo. Again, just to conserve endurance. Yeah, I remember being called in to help my friends do Marrow Snap. I don't remember if I called them in, or if I did the way you altered the difficulty back in the day was you just went out of the mission, did other missions, leveled up, and came back in. And I don't remember if I did that, or if I think I called in help. And then we were all kind of getting Marrow Snap at about the same time because we were similar levels, and there were only so many contacts, and several of them give you the arc, and then once you're on it, you can't get off it anyway, so you're going to be doing it. And so there was a period of time where multiple people needed help doing the Marrow Snap mission, and I might be wrong about this, but I think somebody who remembers better than I do, let me know. When the game very first launched, I have the feeling we had to keep doing the same missions with each other to help each other clear them, that you couldn't, like, if you and I or and Kievar and RB are all teamed up and we all have the Marrow Snap mission and we do mine, I feel like originally it didn't count for any of you. And what we were doing was, okay, let's do mine and we'll do yours and we'll do the Kievar's and we'll do RB's so that all of us get ours done. But I don't remember if that was the case or if it just happened because people were out of sync. So somebody who remembers better than I do, let me know. Post in the comments whether it was original to the game that you could all complete the same mission together doing it once, or whether they added that. I feel like they added that later. Early, like in issue 2 or something, but later, not originally. Because I remember doing some of the missions like the Marrow Snap mission over and over, and the Dr. Vaj mission over and over again, and I feel like if it had been possible to just do them once, we would have all gotten up to the Dr. Vajlak mission and the Marrow Snap mission, and then let's do them together. You know? I just don't know. I don't remember. So somebody who remembers, post in the comments. Stop trying to burn me. Jerk. Eventually that won't be so bad for us because I will have some defense to fire and everything else, but right now we really don't have a little bit, but we don't have much. And that's actually lower during combat because the hide is giving us an extra like +4 that we won't have when we're in combat. So we need to find the missing mystic. Nobody's in here. So anyway, back to story arcs. What's your favorite? Which ones do you guys like the best? You know me, I love the Scroll of Tieleku. I like the Wheel of Destruction, although it's buggy. I'm a pretty big fan of General Z and the Vampire storyline. I really like those. I like the Madam of Mystery with the Carnies. That's a pretty cool arc. And Madeline Casey. That's actually a really cool arc. I like Madeline Casey as a contact too. Trying to think what other ones I really. Oh, and I love the fault line ones. I like the story of Jim Tembler and his father. Burnscar is a boss. All right, so let's see. This is going to be very difficult here. So let's actually look ahead instead of being stupid and going around corners. I think we can take this guy out and the other guy without aggroing anybody. Other than them, you know, obviously. We have Sizzle here. Oh, and that is our Mystic that we're trying to help. Let's see if we can pull. I hate pulling as a Stalker, but I don't know if what's going to happen here. I don't know if the boss is going to come or not. Looks like he didn't. Sizzle, I want you to come to me. Yeah, I don't want to get seen by the other guys. Okay. So that takes care of them. She hasn't awakened yet. She might awaken when I show up. Oh, oh shoot. Now they're going to attack her, so I got too close to her. I didn't know that she was going to do that. Hang on. I didn't realize she could see me while I was hidden, because sometimes they can and sometimes they can't. She's helping me out, which is good. Do a little more damage to this guy. Can we try to hit him? Okay, that took him out, and then bam. That completes the mission. Used up a bunch of inspirations, but that's because... So what I should have done was just waited for build-up to recharge. I was running up to her to see if she could detect me, not thinking, oh, these guys are going to aggro. It was okay, but kind of stupid. Alright, next. We did a great job freeing her from the Hellions. Let's take a message to Athena Curry. She's in Seal Canyon. Back to our dark super jump. Let's see. Let's just go to the base. And go to Steel Canyon because Athena Curry is going to be... Oh, actually, yeah, this wasn't that efficient because Athena Curry's by the train station. So I may as well just super jump through King's Row because it's actually going to be at least as far to get to Athena Curry as it would have been to super jump to the train station from the northern side of Kings Row. Didn't think about that. So what other story arcs? I don't know. I'll have to think about. Oh, there's also one. Well, I like the Clockwork Captive with Lou. We did that one. That one's a pretty cool one. All right, let's just use the train station to go to Kings Row. Oh, the other thing I did want to mention. Apparently, I'm recording this 2 or 3 days before Christmas of 2025. So this may have been fixed, but um, apparently mission difficulty settings are messed up somehow. We haven't done anything to our mission difficulty. We're at +0. But apparently, maybe when they put in the thing where you can do up to +5 and +7, something got screwed up where the -1 is not being counted as a negative and is being added instead of subtracted from the levels. So if you're having trouble at +0 and you set it to -1, it gets worse because you end up fighting +1s. So stay off of that. If you want to make it easier, you can't. Just leave it on +0, at least till they fix it. Don't know what caused that, but I suspect that it may be caused by their attempt to change the level max that you could do from +4 to +5 and then +6 and 7 for incarnate powers. Yeah, maybe something happened in the code. It basically turned a negative into a positive somehow. I don't know why, but anyway, just keep that in mind if you're struggling at low levels. The one channel where I saw it, the one guy was like, well, I guess I'm not playing my controller for a while because he does his controller on +0s when he solos, I guess. Obviously with a group you wouldn't have to worry about that. Sorry, he does it at -1, not +0. And I didn't bring any inspirations into this mission, so hopefully we'll collect some. Alright, so we just need to defeat the Skull Leader and guards, but we're going to do everything because this is part of the story arc. I love having combat jump now. So again, the logic of not using build-up on that Assassin Strike is it eats up 3 of the seconds of build-up so that there are fewer attacks you can do under build-up later, and you can pretty much almost, as you saw, one-shot even a +1 minion without build-up, so you kind of don't need it. Oh gosh, I keep forgetting to turn off Entropy Shield. One of the things I've learned to do in City of Heroes, and you've seen me mess it up anyway, but one of the things I have learned to do in City of Heroes is go to all the corners, because a lot of times there were glowies or hostages or whatever in the corners. There was somebody walking around down here, wasn't there? Yeah, patrol. Did his buddy see me? I like that. Oh no, Dark Phantom! And there's a glowy up above. I feel like a couple of my group mates told me, super group mates, back when I was in the Daybreak Initiative, told me the same thing, that they usually soloed their controllers and defenders on -1. Now, I assume that's at the low levels. At higher levels, they probably can do it at +0 at least. Oh, shoot, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, well. It just happened. Notice it's a minute and 15 seconds for the build up to recharge. I think the base is 90 seconds. Right? Yep. And then we have it under this. So what we want to do with triple single origin recharge enhancers, we can get it down to 45 seconds. So that pretty much makes it active almost once a battle. Right? Because it takes 30 to 40 seconds to take out a spawn, maybe, if they've got a boss or lieutenant in it. So if it's just minion, like white con minions, you're probably doing it every other battle. Now let's see. Let's well, we can't do it here because we don't have white con minions. So this is compound fracture, another boss, a minion, and a glowy. Is there anybody upstairs? Why am I looking upstairs? Well, we're very short on inspirations, and I would like to get a few more, so I'm hoping a couple will drop. But we have not gotten lucky. We got enhancement, but no inspirations. That's unfortunate. And we got salvage. That's another question I have, and I don't know the answer. There's a drop rate. There's a chance that minions, lieutenants, bosses, higher chances as the rank goes up are going to drop an inspiration or an enhancement or some salvage or a recipe. What I don't know is there's a chance of a drop and then roll a d4 to see what drops, essentially, or is it that there's an independent chance for it to drop an enhancement or an inspiration and or salvage and or recipe? I feel like it's just drop percent and then one of the four. What those chances are, I don't know. I'm sure somebody does. All right, we're going to ignore the minion for now. I'm just trying to get this into a decent camera position for you guys. We're going to do double enrage or whatever because I want to do a lot of damage to this guy because I don't have any way to defend myself against him. And he is going to try to debuff me and stuff. Got him. These guys are basically doing dark melee back to me. Not the minions, but the bosses. So we found a recipe. Yeah, we never get two. Right? I always only get one. Drop. Although, I feel like sometimes you get both an enhancement and an inspiration, no? I feel like it does happen sometimes. Honestly, I've not paid a huge amount of attention to it because loot is so sort of just intuitive and easy to just, kind of, you just go with the flow and let it happen kind of thing. Alright, so now we're going to Skyway City and taking the ledger to Carla Brunelli. This is their ledger of, all of their criminal activities. Got a bunch of recipes, bye. Got a bunch of enhancements, bye. I would like some more inspirations. Let's grab some. So at this point, it makes more sense to just go to the base. And I should have just done that to begin with, because I could have sold the nurse all of my junk. So as you can see, I don't always do the smartest, fastest thing, but some of that is just because I don't, and some of it is because I'm busy, narrating and talking and that sort of stuff. Let's just go ahead and get my favorite little... I'll leave one blank so that we can get some drops and maybe something better will drop. We're going to go to Skyway and talk to Carla Brunelli. And it's going to be around lunchtime here. What is the runtime? We're at 50 minutes, right? So we'll do Carla Brunelli, and then we will stop. And we should finish the Bonefire arc next episode. I hope you guys are enjoying this arc and enjoying the playthrough. And if you have any comments or questions or concerns, please put them in the comments section. Got to defeat 20 skulls and 20 hellions. That's going to be annoying. I might do that off screen, guys. I'll just probably go to Paris Park and do it because they have bigger spawns and they'll all be like 5 levels below me, so I'll just be able to wipe them. I don't know if I'm going to bother to show you guys that. I'll do that off screen. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes, soloing the Stalker.